Um, Hi, Falarin. Good morning. Yeah, hello. How are you doing? Okay, so let us wait a little bit for more people to join. Hmm. Well, Yeah, okay, guys. So I think we have more than enough. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, good morning, guys. Yeah, welcome to today's live class, which is on DNS200. So which is the design thinking. Um, just to confirm, you guys can hear me right?
Yes, yes, can hear you.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so let's start. Yeah, let me shift this one here. So yeah, so what is design thinking? So design thinking is a methodology which provides a solution-based approach to solving problems. So it's extremely useful when used to tackle complex problems that are ill-defined or unknown. So so regardless of no matter how the form that the problem comes, so you can always use design thinking to tackle it. So yeah, continue now. So because it serves to understand the human needs involved, refrain from the problem in human-centric ways. So human-centric ways in the sense that the um, the user is always at the middle of what you are doing. So everything that you are going to do in design thinking, so you always keep the user at the center. So everything revolves around the user, of course. Once the user is satisfied, right, then that means you've met your goal for the product. So so human needs involved, referring from human-centric ways. So create numerous ideas in brainstorming sessions and adopt a hands-on approach to prototyping and testing. So you can see here the 5 stages of design thinking. So you might see more than 5 in some other this thing, but for this what's it called today's class, so this is the 5 stages that we'll be using. So some people decided to brought out like some other stages in between, I think from stage 3. So they kind of like split it into like 7 or so. So but yeah, it's still the same thing. It's just that those 2 extra stages that they included in their own listing is under stage 3 here. So moving on. So what are the 5 stages of design thinking process? So the first stage is empathize, right? So which simply means you research your users' needs. So you put yourself in your users' shoes, in order to understand what the problem is. Because there's difference between what's it called, sympathy and empathy, right? So sympathy is like you are feeling sorry for them, right? But like empathize, you're like embed yourself in that same situation that they are going through in order to better understand what the issue is so that you can cater to their needs very well adequately. So the second stage is the define stage, which is you state your users needs and problems. So after putting yourself in their shoes, understanding what what the problem is, then you better define the problem. You write it and you define it better, right? Because now you have a deeper understanding of what is going on. So then the third stage is ideates, challenge assumptions, you create ideas. Then it's under this stage that you have your designs and all of that. You design here. Then the fourth stage is prototype. So you you go on Figma, you create your prototypes, you link everything together. So then after you've done a prototype, right? So which is a model of what um the solution that you are proposing, right? So that's basically what prototype is. So then after you've prototyped, so then the best way to know whether that prototype will actually work is to test it. So we put it in the hands of your potential users, right? So then you test it, you see, you observe, you look at what they are doing. So okay, are they having issues with this? Do they understand it? Are they able to solve the problems that they have through the product, through the prototype rather? So then, if they're having issues, then you obviously, it's an iterative process. You can go back. So you go back, you fix the issue, then, you come back to prototype, you test again. So until you solve the issue. Okay, so yeah, moving on. So what's the purpose of design thinking? So design thinking, helps problem solvers to create solutions with users in view. So like we said, right? So the always keep the user at the center, because once you like solve their problem, you keep them satisfied. Even if you probably the product is free at the beginning. So even if you later on you ask them to like start paying, so they won't have issues with it, because obviously the product is solving their problem. So why not? So, and again, if the price is not ridiculous, of course. So then another one is help problem solvers to create solutions that are technically feasible. So there are some solutions that are not feasible. You might, okay, say, take for example, probably you are going from let's say how can I use an example? So probably you're on the ocean, right? So you are going from point A to point B on the ocean. Then you say, okay, part of the ways you can go from point A to point B. Remember, you're on the water. So part of the ways is taking a train, right? You can take a train. So a train can take you from point A to point B, but obviously you're on the ocean. So that's not feasible. It can't work. But yeah, it's a solution. So what design thinking helps you to do is, like create solutions that are feasible, technically feasible. So then another one is help problem solvers to create solutions that are economically viable. You know, um, let's say now, what can I use an example? Okay. Okay, so let's say probably you are moving from one place to another, right? You want to move from one place to another. Then um the amounts that will take you from that point A to point B, is a ridiculous amount. So obviously people will not take it, right? Because it's like you are stealing from them. So that's not economically viable, right? It's a solution, yes, but it's not viable. So part of what design thinking helps you to do is like create solutions that are, economically viable. That okay, once you see the solution, okay, this will actually work. So then another one is, help problem solvers to ask the right questions needed to tackle a problem. So it helps problem solvers to ask the right set of questions, in order to like solve a problem. So then is a continuous problem solving approach. So it's always, solution generative. So continuous in the sense that, regardless, probably you've used design thinking to solve the issue in the past, right? So then, so let's say that's like 10 years ago or like 7 years ago. So things are changing, because we all know like it's a fast-paced world. So things are rapidly changing. So you might need to like, go back to the solution that you've created and do a design. So like it's not fixed. So you can always like go back and do a design and make sure everything is up to date, right? So moving on. So stage one, which is the empathize stage, you research your users' needs. So they said the first stage of design thinking process focuses on user-centric research. So in the sense that user-centric, right? Right. So the user is in the middle. It's like from the viewpoint of the users. So you want to gain an empathic understanding of the problem you are trying to solve. So consult experts to find out more about the area of concern and conduct observations to engage and empathize with your users. So you engage with your users, you ask them questions, in order to like, better understand what they are going through. So you may also want to like immerse yourself in your users' physical environments to get a deeper personal understanding of the issues involved. So that's another thing too. Like you can try, probably, it's like kind of like, an environment thing, problem. So you might try to like, recreate that situation that the users are going through, like physically recreate it and, try to like see what, they went through. So they're like, yeah, there's no limit to it. So, then, the second stage is, define, state your users' needs and problems. So in this is okay, sorry, mistake here. So in a design stage, you will organize the information you have gathered during the empathize stage. So you analyze the observations to define the core problems. So defining the problem and problem statements must be done in a human-centered manner. So then you should pitch the problem statement from your perspective of the user's needs. So the example they use, teenage girls need to eat nutritious food in order to thrive, be healthy and grow. So probably this person is working with a kind of like a food production company or so. So and I said in this stage, we start to progress to the third stage. So gradually by completing this stage, you start to enter into the third stage. So which is the ideation stage, right? So then where you ask questions to help you look for solutions. So part of the questions that you might ask is, how might we, encourage teenage girls to perform an action that benefits them and also involve your company's food related product or service? So remember we said take for example the person is working with a food production company. So part of the questions that you might start to ask yourself is, okay, how might we encourage teenage girls, right? So because the problem is teenage girls need to eat nutritious food in order to thrive, be healthy and grow. So how might we encourage them to perform an action that benefits them and also involve the company? Of course, you want to sell your product, right? When companies always want to make more money. So how might we solve the user's problem, and then also make more money by solving their problem. So then the third stage, which is the ideation stage. So you challenge assumptions and you create ideas. So during the third stage of design thinking process, designers are ready to generate ideas. So you've grown to understand your users and their needs in the empathize stage. So of course, in the previous stage, you've defined your problem, right? So then in the first stage, you've immerse yourself in the user should, gone through the challenges that they are going through. Then, you've better defined the problem. Of course, now you have a better understanding of what is going on. So then, so they said you've grown to understand your users and their needs in the empathize stage, and you've analyzed your observations in the define stage to create a user-centric problem statement. So that's another thing. So when creating your problem statement, make sure it is centered around the user. Of course, it's like you keep the users happy, ask them to pay for a service, they'll be happy to pay. So with this solid background, you and your team members can start to look at the problem from different perspectives and ideate innovative solutions to your problem statements. So there's this saying that they said, a problem I've forgotten this thing. Like if you
A problem
basically
shared
if you
is a
define
problem solved.
yeah that's but basically the points that I want to bring out is once you understand your problem, then to solve it is will be very, very easy, right? So yeah, thank you for reminding me. So but basically once you understand the problem very well, you define it, then if you are working in a team, of course you share it with your team, right? So then once everybody understands that problem very well, then to generate ideas to solve it is will be very, very easy. So and there's this saying too that I saw about Einstein, right? So he said if he was given 1 hour to solve a problem, so he will use 55 minutes to understand that problem very well. Then he will use 5 minutes to solve it. Because once you understand it, then to solve it is not going to be an issue. It's not supposed to be a challenge, right? So then yeah, so with the solid background, you and your team members can start to look at the problem from different perspectives. So now that you have a better understanding of what the issue is, then you can start to look at it from different perspectives. So and innovate and ideate innovative solutions to your problem statements. So there are hundreds of ideation techniques you can use. There are different techniques that you can use to generate ideas that you can use to solve that issue, that problem. So part of it is brainstorm, then under brainstorming we have different type of brainstorming, right? So is it type of brainstorming now? But yeah, related to brainstorming. So we have brain dumping, which is like a single person thinking about what solutions can use to solve the problem. So of course brainstorming involves multiple people, right? So that's multiple people thinking about what solutions they can come up with. Okay. So then brainstorming, brain dumping, brain writing, which involves you writing it down, right, to generate ideas. Then which other one is under brainstorming? brain working, which involves you walking around, thinking about, okay, what can I do? How can I solve this issue? Just walking around. So things like that, then, brain writes, what's possible ideas, and scamper. So there are different techniques that we can use, to solve this issue. So moving on. So they said brainstorm and what's possible idea techniques are typically used at the start of the ideation stage to stimulate free thinking and expand the problem statements. So yeah, these ones are best used, at the beginning of the addition stage, just like generate that idea, then from those ideas, you can start to bring another ones out. So there's this three modes of thinking. So we have divergent thinking, emergent thinking, and convergent thinking. So divergence now is just you generating ideas, regardless of how ridiculous the idea might be. So let's take for example, right? Like moving from the problem of the problem is you want to get people to like move from point A to point B. So let's take that that problem as an example, right? So now you start to generate ideas using divergent thinking. So regardless of how ridiculous the idea might be, so the point is, just generate that idea, just like start generating ideas. Part of it might be okay. We can get those people to take a train from that point A to point B. We might get them to like book a flight from point A to point B. Of course, a train will carry take you from one point to another. A plane can carry you take you from one point to another. You can idea might be okay, get the people to like, book a bicycle ride, bicycle will take you from point A to point B, you can book a cab. So we don't want to like, care about how the quality of the idea is, but whether it will work or not. So at this stage, just generate the idea, just generate it, that's what divergent thinking is all about. Then emergent thinking now. So from that idea that you've generated, no matter how ridiculous it might be, so you can now start to bring out another idea from it. So that one can start serve as a spark to the original this thing that will actually solve the problem that you have on ground. So then from there, you start to generate, some more ideas, like let's call it secondary ideas now. So that's emergent thinking now. So you are bringing out other ideas that can work, that can actually solve the issues that you have on ground from the ridiculous ones that you've generated, that you first generated. So now, then convergent thinking now is, now you now picking the one that will actually, best solve the issue that you have on ground. So that's divergent thinking, emergent thinking, then convergent thinking. So let's move on. So then, after, of course, doing the third stage, is where once you generate ideas, you do your what's it called? Wireframe, you do your low fidelity design, high fidelity design, then you do your of course, high fidelity design, which is the main design, right? So then once you get after that, you get to the fourth stage, which is the prototype. You start to create solutions. So go on Figma, you do your prototype, right? So the design team will now produce a number of inexpensive scaled down versions of the product. So, or specific features found within the product to investigate the key solution generated in the addition phase. So these prototypes can be shared and tested within the team itself. So that's one thing. Probably if you are working with a team, you can first, do like a quick testing within the team, even before inviting users to come and test for you, right? So they can be shared and tested within the team itself. So in other departments or on a small group of people outside the design team. So the aim is to identify the best possible solution for each of the problems identified during the first 3 stages. So they will also have a clearer view of how real users would behave, think, and feel when interacting with the end product. So like we said, the prototype is like, a model of, the actual product, right? So then, yeah, so it's like a model of, the actual product. So then, you can go on Figma, you do it on Figma, you connect all the distance, all your screens that you've designed, you prototype everything. You connect it, you connect everything together. Then, after you are done with the prototype, then you are ready to test. So which will lead us to stage 5, test. So try the solutions out. So designers or evaluators rigorously test the complete product using the best solution identifying the prototype stage. So this is the final stage of the 5-stage model. However, in an iterative process such as design thinking, because that's another thing. So design thinking is an iterative process. Remember, guys, it's an iterative process. So just because you've gotten to stage 5 here, doesn't mean you can't go back. Like if you find a problem here, so you still have to like go back to fix that problem. So you keep going back until you have a product that can actually that solves the user's problem. Because everything's centered around the user, right? So you are not trying to solve your own problem. You are not trying to solve the problems of the stakeholders. It's the users. So keep the users happy, and ultimately you keep the stakeholders happy too, because nobody wants to do a product and not make any money from it. The ultimate goal of every what's it called? Product owners, is to like make money with their products, right? So your own job, to keep the user happy, then the users, obviously keep the stakeholders happy by paying for the products, so to say. So yeah, where are we? So this is the final stage of the 5-stage model. However, in an iterative process, the iterative process, such as design thinking, the results generated are often used to redefine one or more further problems. So this increased level of understanding may help you investigate the conditions of use and how people think, behave, and feel towards the products, and even lead you to loop back to a previous stage in design thinking process. So that's the thing. You can always go back and fix something. So you can then proceed with further iterations and make alterations and refinements to rule out alternative solutions. So the ultimate goal is to get as deep an understanding of the products and its users as possible. So yeah. The key takeaway. So design thinking is an iterative process, non-linear process which focuses on a collaboration between designers and users. So yeah, like I said, iterative in the sense that it's a loop. You can always go back, to fix something. Then you follow the other stages again. So it brings innovative solutions to life based on how users think, feel, and behave. Because that's one of the main thing, right? So like you want to make sure everything is in balance with real users, the way they think, the way they feel, the way they behave. So you want to make sure everything is centered around them. So which is why doing testing, it might be you might decide to bring in some other people to test for you, right? So during testing, you make sure you watch your users, how they interact with the product, right? So because this thing tends to happen sometimes. Probably you've promised your users to let's say to encourage users, right, to come and test for you. So you've promised them, probably a $25 gift card or $100 gift card, regardless of depending on how sorry, excuse me. Yeah, sorry guys. So okay, so depending on how rich the company you're working for is, right? So probably you've promised them something in return for coming to test for you guys. So then some people might have that in mind, any question that you ask them, okay, are you having any issue with this thing? Is it difficult for you to do this or do that? They'll just say, oh no, everything is fine, it's perfect. Is this, is that, it's 10 out of 10. Like all they care about is not getting you angry, so that you can give them the this thing that you promised them. So that, which is why you sometimes you bring in observers to observe for you. Then you too, of course, you yourself, you have to observe. So while you are doing those tasks, you look at their face, the expression. Are they squeezing their face? Are they happy? Because things like that can give away how they feel, right? So probably they are doing something. You've given them a task to complete during the testing phase, right? and then you see the person squeezing his face and like just trying to like figure out, then like, okay, this person is definitely having an issue with the task that you've given them. So, and then at the end of the day, you ask the person, are you having an issue? And he said, no, 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 everything is fine. Obviously the person's lying. So so I just wanted to like bring in that. So moving on now. So they said this human-centered design process consists of 5 core stages, empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test, right? So it's important to note that these stages are a guide. So the iterative nonlinear nature of design thinking means you and your design team can carry these stages out simultaneously, right? Then you repeat them and even circle back to previous stages at any point in the design thinking process. So which is what I've been saying earlier too, like you can always go back to any of the previous stage, provided that you identify a problem and you have to like fix it for the user. Then you fix it, you go through, you make sure you went through all the stages, and then you come back to test again. So until you get it right. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. So that's the end of the presentation. So yeah, if you guys have any question, so you can ask. Questions, guys. Questions. Okay, I'm seeing something in the chat. Oh yeah, you're welcome. Alidi. Thank you as well. Yeah, thank you. You are big guy. Yeah, thank you. So questions, guys. Questions. So you can mute your mic and talk if you have questions.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, go on.
Good morning. Thank you so much for the lecture.
Yes, you're welcome.
So my question is regarding the testing part of it.
Okay.
So I want to ask, talking about testing, I want to ask about how do we carry out this testing, because it was mentioned that you carry out this testing through your potential users. So here is my questions. Okay, let me not say this. Here's my question. Is it possible, talking about these potential users, is it possible that you throw the testing phase out to people to test, like to the public, just have it out there to the public to test? I mean, for potential users, they use it, and whatever feedback you get, you just come back with it. Or you come with some set of people that are potential users, you bring them in and you have this testing section with them, which I think I've had experience of that before with, I think, WheelChat, when WheelChat came out. That was around 2028, between 2012, around those period. So,
okay.
With WeChat, where they had some set of people that came up to somewhere around, is it Ogbaside or somewhere like that? Then this particular all were there and we run the testing and we provide some certain things for us, like internet and all that. Is this it's face like that? Or better still, you work with some of your team that can also be potential users to run the testing. Some of your team in the company, let's say it's a large organization.
Okay, like wrap it also that I don't lose, the initial.
So how do we carry out this testing phase? Is it does it have different style, or is there a particular way to carry out this testing phase?
Okay. So yeah, thank you for the question. So there are different ways of carrying out testing, right? So depending on where your users are. So if you can find your users, around you, right? So I said potential users, so probably you should remove the potential, right? So let's just call them users. So so yeah, depending on where your users is. So probably if you have your users, around you, right? So you can just, like invite them, probably in a physical location, right? So you set up your listing, your the way you want to carry out your test. So then, probably you invite observers to come and, observe for you, right? Probably your co designers then and observe them while they are testing, right? So that's physical. So then you can do it online too, right? So you set up probably, you like set up a couple of tasks for them to, go through. Then, they might decide to like make use their webcam, right? So that I can see them. And even if they decide to like, not show their face, so you can still they're able to like, still juggle the question and get what you want. So you can do it physically, you can do it, online. So depending on on what the feasible solution is at the moment, at the time, right? So then, of course, you can test with your guys too. So probably, you are working in a team, right? Team of designers. So you can test with your designers. But the thing is this, the problem with that is, they are designers and they've worked on that product. So they already have a set of expectations, which we call buyers, right? So it's not very, very ideal for you to like, test with those guys, those people. So it's best if you put it in the hands of, the actual user, right? And see what's, how they interact with it. So yeah, there are various ways of testing. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So for that, you're raising your hand. So I can see the questions in the chat. So I will go through it too, guys.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
Thanks for the lecture. And from what I can get, you said design thinking has to do with solving a problem. So as it is now, if we are to use all the process involved, that means only one person cannot do it.
No, of course.
Or
No, I think a single designer can do everything. Like so you can like depending on where you are working, right? So if you are the only designer, of course, it falls on you. So you are the sole designer, so you have to like go through everything. And if it's in a team, then you can delegate task and
No, as in someone like me that has not gotten my feet is not yet firm in designing parts. Maybe when I see a problem, then I feel that it's something I can use all the process. Is it possible? No, if I'm to use all the process, aside from working with a team, I'm going to spend more. So is it possible for a person to find his way in find out all the processes? Maybe when you want to make use of the users, you can do it in maybe not too official setting and still get a reasonable response at the end of the routine.
Of course. So by process, I want to believe you mean stages, right?
Yeah, the stages, yes. The empathy, the definition and the like. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So this thing is a single designer can is supposed to like go through everything, right? So of course, if you like you're working in a team, then that means you have more free time, right? You can delegate the task. But yeah, it's a single designer is more than enough for everything. So yeah, depending on where you find yourself or the kind of situation you are in. So the main thing is to like get valuable insights to solve the problem that you have at hand. Yeah, it's very, very possible. Yes, you're welcome. So the first question I can see in the chat. So the person is from Wisdom, right? So we're looking at this process which falls under UI UX because it all seems like it's sign for web design. Wisdom, can you unmute your mic and ask? I don't get this question. Wisdom, are you there? Okay, so let me just try and answer your question in the way I understand it, right? So UI UX and product design, they are let's say, the way people use it around us, they're the same thing, basically. So, because you said, it seems like it's designed for product designs. So yeah, design thinking can be used to solve, diverse set of problems, right? But it's what UI UX designers use to solve their problems too. So it's not just for UI UX designers, of course, a lot of people can use it. But yeah, that's me, what UI UX designers use. And then, the way, at least in my own immediate environment, some people say product designers, some people say UI UX designers, some people even say UX UI designers. So people use it, interchangeably. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, sorry, just to add to what you just said. I was watching a video yesterday about how they title this for design more like design job, the design career sha. So that some companies they name it according to what they wish to name it. Some name it visual design, some name it interaction design. Apple names it product design and the likes. So it's just to add to what you just said, sir.
Okay. Yeah, of course. So, but then, like sometimes too, UI UX design and product design, they are like, an umbrella name, right? So once you go in, then you start to see different aspects of, designs. So, but yeah, the one you guys are doing is just, like you have to like, put your hands in different this thing, different situations. So by the time you guys understand this better and you've been doing this for a while, then you can now, go and specialize probably in the field. So like probably interaction design or motion design or things like that. But yeah, as it is now, guys, let's just see it as UI UX design. So it's like putting us in different places. So it's important. So in Scamper with the little I read about it, it's mentioned okay, with the letter okay. 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 So someone just raised their hand. You can go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to ask one of the thought process is Ideate, right, of the design thinking.
Yes.
Sorry. So
Design thinking.
I wanted to ask should we say it's appropriate that wireframing falls within the design thinking, the Ideate step?
Yes.
The wireframing falls, or does it fall under the prototyping?
No. Addition.
Yes. Okay. Ideation.
Under addition, yeah, I did. So under wireframe, low fidelity, your actual design, you design actually like the actual design. So everything is under ideation. So some people decided to like bring it out and expand it more, which is why you might see some. If you search online, you might see like, let's say their own design thinking this thing model is like 7 stages or 6 stages. But yeah, for this 5 stage model, so it's under ideation.
One more question. Thank you for the answer. One more question.
Okay.
Yeah. I was listening to one of these Coursera courses, and so we were kind of told that there are like 5 frameworks that are popular among designers for more like design process. So they're like 5 frameworks. So but then the most 2 popular frameworks are the 5 elements of UX design, which is strategy, scope, structure, skeleton, and surface. That is one. And the second part of it, second framework that's popular is this design thinking that we're doing today. So then they went ahead and said that the other design framework are universal, inclusive, and equity focused. So my major question is that among these frameworks, should we say that design thinking is the universally accepted design thinking process, the process for the framework for building a product or designing a product?
Okay. Interesting question. Okay, so different people with different ideas, right? Different ways of viewing things, right? Or different ways of solving the problem. So like some people used to say, there are many ways to the market, right? But the point is, you get into the market. Although some ways are faster, some ways are, think much longer, right? So yeah, basically what I mean is, there are different ways of solving a problem, right? So, but the ones that me have seen, the one that me have seen, you know, that a lot of design is, design thinking. So, which is, I think is, is more than enough, right? So, but if you wish to like, learn about the other models, yeah, you can go ahead, but at least understand this one first,
Yes.
understand this one first. So, and
Yes.
then for this, what's it called? This training. So, this is the one that we're using, right?
Mostly it looks straightforward to understand
Yeah,
compared to.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, Olaide, you're using hand.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
So I wanted to ask about the first stage, empathize stage. So how
Okay.
do you get your users, like potential users, how do you source for them in reality? How do you look for people that, oh, I want to solve this problem? How do you get users in order to be able to go through the empathize stage? That's my question.
Okay, so that which is the first stage, right?
Yes, the first stage.
Okay. Depending on it really depends on the type of product that you have at hand. So let's say you are working on a fintech problem, right? So obviously, almost everybody, like everybody needs money, right? Interact with money.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, of
like
course.
there's no way you want to avoid money. You can't avoid money. It's important for
Sure.
everybody. So with that, it's very, very easy for you to like, get your users, because everybody needs money. So, but really it depends on the kind of program that you have at hand. So like getting users, is sometimes it's a challenge, right? It's a lot of challenge. Because even if you get your users, especially for testing, right? So even if you get your users, so most of the time, if you are not putting something to like, encourage them to come, they will not come. They'll be like, okay, so you want to like start picking our brains and making us do a bunch of tasks. What are we getting? Like, what's the benefit for us? So which is why some company tends to like, put what's it called? Like incentives just to encourage people to come. So yeah, it really depends on the type of product that you're working on.
So sorry, my second question is, I was
Okay.
reading in the material that users themselves, let me just put them as potential users, don't know what they need. So how do
Mm.
you really figure out what they don't know what they want? Or let me say they don't know what they want. They just say, oh, this is actually you feel this is a problem, but they might actually not be seeing it as a problem. And they don't know. So how do you figure out what they actually need, like users need? How do you actually figure it out?
That's the reason why the UX is important, the UX part, which is the research part. So you have to
Yeah,
do research to figure out everything. So sometimes to clients too don't know what they want sometimes.
sure.
They just know I want to build this product, I want to do this, I want you to, do this for me. So
What exactly do you need?
it's so when you start working on it, that's when tend to like define everything and have a better understanding of, what the real issue is. So yeah, that's the reason why the UX part is important, which is the research part. So once you've done your research, you analyze everything, you have a clear view of everything.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Welcome. Okay, so guys, no more questions, or if you have any questions, you can go ahead. Okay, Olaide, okay, go ahead.
Sorry. So I wanted
No
to
problem.
ask if, yeah, I wanted to ask if you'll be taking us through the tools that we'll be using in each stages, because as I understand, there are tools under empathize, there are tools under define. So will you be taking us these tools or it will be self-led?
Yeah, no, you guys I like, because my own part is, ending with this, right? So, but of course,
Yeah.
I'm still on the group, right? We still have more things to do. Yes.
What? We're going to miss you.
So majorly, who you'll be seeing next, is going to be somebody else, majorly. But yeah, you guys will be taught. That's why I believe, they will take you guys through everything, right? So because of course it's important. There's no point in showing you guys this is this and that, and then not taking you through how to like use all the tools that you have and go through all the stages. So yeah, you guys will be taught. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So guys, any more questions? No more questions, guys. Okay, so if there's no more questions, okay, yeah, good morning.
Okay. Good morning.
Yeah, okay. Good morning.
My question is about the design thinking process. So,
Okay.
regarding the empathy stage and then the defining stages, we're talking about having access to as many potential users or users as possible. So my question, I'm trying to understand or trying to know where do we have like sites or apps or links to where we can have access to willing users or willing people that are able to test your product, or maybe have access to, like, for instance, if you are just if you're just having a startup company without having or users already, how do you get access to like
Source
a lot
okay.
of people?
Source for users. Okay. I said source for users.
Okay.
Like, how do you source for users?
Yeah,
Right.
so how do you source for users, especially for startups, and then even because it's easier for already existing companies to like send
Yeah, of
out
course.
service,
Yeah, they
because they
already
already
have their
have
users.
Yes. So, but how do startups? How do you get how do you get people to
So
into problem statement?
okay. So basically, getting users, sometimes might be challenging depending, like I said, depending on the area that you're working on. So some users are, some areas, some topics like if you're working on them, you have your users all around you. Sometimes it's a bit challenging to get your users. So, but part of the ways that designers use to get users, is like by creating a screener form. So so you might use Microsoft form, you might use Google form, to like create a screener form. So basically, what's the purpose of the screener form is to like screen out your users from your potential users from the ordinary people, other people. Let's just say others. So this form you can share it online, you can share it in groups, you can share it with your friends to help you share it. So but majorly, so basically what it's usually entails is, okay, take for example, you're working on a product which is for people under 30, right? So part of the questions that you put on your screener form might be, okay, your age range. So don't just ask for direct age. Some people are they're very sensitive about it. They'll be like, okay, I'm not giving you my age. So why do you want to know my age? So you can just put age range. So like 25 to 30, things like that. So everybody below 30 that picks below 30, obviously they are part of your potential users, right? Because the product that you're working on in this instance now, is a product for people below 30, right? So then at the end of the form, you might, tell them that, okay, will you be available for an interview, this and that, then if you want to like include an incentive, then you let them know there, right? So that's one of the ways that, designers tend to, get users. And there are some platforms too that, that's what they do. Like you can go there and, probably, of course, I think you will have to pay them, right? But yeah, the source for your users for you. So, but obviously you like, and you have to pay them. But majorly for startups, they might not really have the money to like do that. So yeah, part of the ways that you can get your users in is by creating forms, screener forms, and disseminating it online to draw in your potential users. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. So no more questions, guys, right? No more questions. Okay, so yeah. if there's no more questions, then that'll be all for today, guys. Thank you guys for coming. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.